Thinking we've got no cat.
Well, it's not picking up the camera for some reason.
Okay, could you mute Sean? Because no disrespects, but I really don't need people talking through this. I think I better mute everybody, and I. There we go. Right. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lisa Ware, Senior Group Leader. This is the Yessave coaching. And I know some of you are quite excited because this is part two. This is a follow-on from last week. And I will say this, there is going to be a part three because I'm delving in quite deeply into something that I think is very, very important. Because if we can get new people off the starting block and feeling confident and absolutely loving what they're doing, that's the basis of building a great business. And a lot of what I'm showing you, I think, can apply to us as well. So, without further ado, I'm going to say last week was all about the bringing in of a new partner. And I think all of you thought I was going to jump straight into the fast start plan, but I didn't. But I've had some incredible feedback, so I know it was well received. I know that lots of you found it very useful. So this hopefully will be a good follow-on. So I'm going to share my screen. And here we go. And I think you are all now seeing 5-step fast start plan to QD star and beyond. Yeah, could I have a thumbs up? Brilliant, brilliant, lovely. Right, guys, I'll tell you what I think one of the first pitfalls is. I know that these aren't being booked quick enough from the moment that you bring in a new partner. Personally, I think this should be done at the very, very latest within 48 hours. Okay. If it goes on any longer, you should have said to yourself, well, really, they shouldn't have been signed up. It should have waited. Okay. Because if we're going to be authentic and caring, we don't want to take away any of those first 30 days that a new partner is given because there's some big money on the table for them. All right, it really is very large. So I think this should be done very quickly. Now, I haven't bothered to show you because just to say on your partner portals, if you go to your drop-down box, it is in events and training and it is under fast start plan. Okay, so here it is. And now let's go. It says here, this is a guide, all right, for your first meeting with your mentor to get you started fast. And you can run through it by yourself. And I actually do recommend to all my new recruits that they come back in and they look at it again. Very, very important because there's lots in it. And by the way, I'm going to say to you, it says allow 30 minutes. And I'm going to say for the record, what a load of tosh. Okay, there's no way if you do this properly, it can be done in 30 minutes. I always allow a 1 hour, 1 hour, and I can do it really well in 1 hour. Now, because I'm delving in and I'm kind of giving you psychology and all sorts, this is why I'm spreading it out. Okay, so the very first part of this, if we look at how the fast start works, we've got little forward and back buttons here. Okay. And the very first part is all about why. Now, look, if you're fairly new, can I just say, don't try and be brilliant. Why not read what's on the screen? Because that's duplicatable. So all successful UW partners stay on track by focusing on their why. Spend some time considering why you joined as a partner and what you want from the business. Use the questions and video below to help. Now, there is a smashing video here. It's Dear Danielle Bennett. It's worth a watch. For the sake of this, I'm not going to do that. Otherwise, I'm kind of telling you how to suck eggs. But what I do, it's that do. You see here, the fast start. When you click that and we open it up, what comes up is a blank. Okay, now what I do is I'm on Zoom with my new recruit. They sometimes are with me in person, but not very often. Okay. But I allow them to think, relax, and focus while I just do the writing and I kind of resume it. Yeah. Now, questions are the answers. There we go, Mr. Allen Pease again. The more questions we ask, the more we will get out of somebody. So it's usually a question that seems so ridiculously easy, but often it's not. Why did you choose to become a partner? Do you know what most people say? Oh, I wanted more money or I want more income. Well, that's like saying I want to go on holiday, but I don't know where. Yeah, it's the ship without the rudder. And actually, that means nothing because I tell you what, I think you could ask Elon Musk, would he like more money? And he'd probably say yes. All right, so that's just not, that doesn't cut it. Okay. Why did you choose to become a partner? Now, there are interesting answers. The very yellow, kindly people will usually start off quite easily with something of, oh, I really love the idea of helping other people. What a great idea to reduce people's bills. Isn't that smashing? And that will be their main focus because they've got to fulfill that need of helping. If you ask that of a red person, the first thing they'll say is, right, I'm after some money. I want to do da 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 da. I want to build a team. And they will absolutely, it will be so obvious, right? By this question, what colour person you're dealing with. It's not true. It's just incredible. If you ask a blue person, they're probably going to come back to you and say something like, oh, God, it sounds such fun. Oh, look, you go on holidays together and you have all these meetings. And I hear you've got kickoffs and you've got something called an annual conference. And oh, wow. Now, I'm kind of exaggerating this, but what I'm saying is this is a moment to establish what is the character of your person. Because this is about learning about your person, the new person you've brought in, and how you can support and help them in the best way. That's what this is about. So, why did you choose to become a partner? There's probably things about money, but I delve in. This is like a lovely big onion, a Spanish onion. And as you take away the layers, what happens is people start to give you more detail. Now, I can't go into all the detail of certain people because it will give it away. But recently, I've had some real opposites of people that I've brought in. Absolutely fabulous. But I try to get some detail. If they say to me, oh, do you know, I'd love my first house. I say, oh, right, okay. So tell me, what is that a house? Is it a flat? Is it a masonette? And then how many bedrooms? Whereabouts would you like it? Would you like a garden? Would you not like a garden? And what you're doing is building up a picture for them to actually understand, well, actually, now we've got all that, we can have a vague idea how much all this thing costs because it leads so nicely into the next question of how much extra a month would you like? Now, look, guys, if you get someone come back and they say, oh, well, I want 3 grand a month. And then in the next breath, they tell you they can only afford to give this 3 hours a week. The two aren't going to marry up. Yes, Alan, you're right to shake your head. Okay. Because actually, there has to be some realism, doesn't there? It really does. So, you know, at this point, I'll tell you what I do with them. I always say to them, right, just go with me, have a pen and paper. You know this, guys. You may write it again. I say to them, how many hours a month do you work at the moment? Oh, sorry, how many hours a week do you work at the moment? And some might say something like, I don't know, 50. I'm doing this for easy numbers. I've had some people actually do 120, truly, honestly. And then how many hours Do you sleep? Allow for get ready time, go to bed time, all the rest of it, get up in the morning. Do you belong to any clubs, any churches, any organizations? Do you look after children? Do you have to take them to school? What about shopping, cooking? Right, you've got to get it all out. Now, I tell you what's amazing, even somebody in a full-time job, which I understand these days is only under 40 hours a week, lots of people have spare in a week. They have more than 40 hours. Well, that's another job. So if they've got 40 hours and you say to them, well, because we've all got 168 hours in a week, it's how we prioritize to use them. And what's interesting, if you get somebody that's got, say, 40 hours or more spare, you then have to look at them and say, where do you think most of that 40 hours is being used at the moment? And then what comes out is most of it is in spent either on their phone, social media, or it's the TV. In fact, I would say the phone has almost overtaken the TV. Yeah. So you then have to ask them, how many hours of those 40 would you like to prioritize to invest in improving your life to the things you've just said you'd like to achieve? What a great thing to do. They don't expect that. Okay. Now, that's not on the fast start plan, is it? But it's what I do. Okay. So, what we come out with is most people will say they can do about 5 hours. So that's still 20 hours a month. That's a really good amount, okay? And that 5 hours, all right, could enable them to sign up at least one homeowner a week. Do you know what, guys? That's 4 a month. Customer bonuses on a 250 sign up becomes 350 because of the higher activity bonus. That's only the 3 services. There's £1,400. That is full-time money on part-time hours. And that makes a massive difference. So now, if we come out with this £1,400 there, and they've said to you they'd like 500, you can be sure that there's a good chance you can fulfill their wishes. And then ask them, you know, that extra 500 you want? Well, it could be 1,000. What would that enable you to do? Wow. Now we get to the nitty gritty because that is one of the most important things because, ladies and gentlemen, this is goal setting actually in a different guise. It is sealing in what they want to achieve. It is their why, their reason. And if we can help them achieve that, how formidable is that? How good is that? How good will that be for us? How good it makes you feel helping somebody else. Okay. So this is really important. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to where we were. Now, the next thing, you've done that, is now we've got to help them devise their script. Okay. So this is great. I think, can I just ask, are you all seeing hover over each point below for more information? Can you see that? Great. This is super. I love it. This is so good. Right, hang on. Whoa, look. So look, as you may or may not know, I am, let's go back to me. All right. In fact, no, let's show Danielle, right? Because Danielle says, as you know, I'm a teacher. And she says, and what I love about that is I'm helping people. In other words, she's helping children. How nice is that? And then the next thing is, but the problem is, since having my own children, the long hours aren't working for me. So what you've got here is you've got statement. This is Big Al stuff here. You've got statement, what you love, and now the problem. But then here comes the solution. But I found an opportunity that's going to enable me to spend more time with my family and go part-time by covering the loss of income as a teacher, I would add there. Now, this is absolutely fabulous. All right, it's fabulous. And what I do is that I send to them on a WhatsApp and I ask them, I want them to adapt that into their own words, not taking away too much of it, okay? But that they need to adapt that for them with extra stuff, all right? With extra stuff, which we'll talk about, okay? But what you have to say to them is this. Guys, I'm going to just stop the share here because I'm going to really home in on you. There are too many people that believe they know better. They've never done this before, but my God, they know better than us. Isn't that fascinating? Remind them that to become an expert at something is about 10,000 hours. That's what they say. If you wanted to learn the violin at a certain level, you've got to practice for 10,000 hours. Well, I say to most of them, I've done about 100,000. So I think that pretty much makes me an expert. And I say, in this case, I am your driving instructor. I am out to get you to pass your driving test in the quickest way possible. So you don't spend loads of money practicing lessons that cost loads and you will pass super fast. And would you like to be able to do it the quickest way or the longest way? In the old days, we used to say, do you want to work this business fast or slow? Nobody said slow. All right. But the reality is, most partners do not want to keep to that script. Now, I say to them, if you don't, I cannot in any way guarantee you that you will get the right result from that phone call that you make. Reality, it just won't happen. Okay. You've got to keep to this. And there's a reason. And here it is. Here's the psychology and why I'm really going on this. The psychology is this. Most friends and family, because remember the people they should be ringing first are the people that know, like, trust them. The people that would do them a favour. Is that not true? Yeah. You don't go for the miserable buggers. You don't go for the mean, nasty people in the world. Jim Rowan says there aren't many, but they run around a lot. Okay, I agree. We've got to go for the easy targets, what they call the low picking fruit, not the stuff at the top of the tree. So they want to go for the people that would do them a favour. And that little script has been adapted perfectly to hit the part of the brain that to the recipient that gets the call, they'll go, oh, yeah, Emma, I'd love to help you. Yeah, sure. And you can emphasize and say, well, actually, it is about practice for me. I've been told I've got to do 6 of these, and you were one of the very first people I thought of. What a lovely thing to say. A nice person, yeah? These words are gold dust. They shouldn't be ignored. I promise you, if you go round saying to people, I can save you money on your gas and electric, you can virtually throw that call away. All right? Because it ain't going to work. There's no way. Does every Tom and Dick company out there promise savings? Yes, they do. That's why I don't even like the word saving. Hate it. I prefer reduce your bills. Much more factual, much more real. Okay. So they've got to make the calls in the right way. Now, I'm going to go back. Hang on. We'll get there. There we are. So now I've made a promise to them that they're going to get this and they're going to get it on a WhatsApp. And I'm going to say, how soon, big words, write them down. How soon can you adapt that for you? because I need that. All right. Now we go on to the next page. Watch, click the right button. And now, guys, this is why this is going to take some time, because now it's about how the money works. All right. I'm going to speak some truths here. Yes, of course, the Christmas incentives are lovely. Yes, holidays are lovely. But I believe each and every one of us never ever joined for any of those reasons. We joined to improve our lives with some extra income for what mattered to us. So I never shortchange this bit. This is important, how the money works. And I ask them to go into heightened focus. All right. So we can earn money in three ways. Please note, I'm reading the screen. Upfront customer gathering income and bonuses, supporting new partners and residual income. You can also achieve some awesome incentives by gathering achiever points from homeowners. Okay. Now, those of you that are in my team and get my WhatsApp messages, you will know I have been banging on till I'm blue in the face about quality over quantity. Homeowners is what you want to target because that is our target market set by the company. They are doing everything to make sure that that's what we do because they give us nothing for a tenant. It is hideous. Not only do we not get any customer bonus, no FEC, no achiever points. When we do sign them up, although you get residual income immediately, it's 50% of what you can earn in the first 2 years. And then thereafter, what they call an established tenant, it's still only 75%. Everything screams that they are saying our target market is this. Okay, so 70% of new customers take 3 or more services. This is how the upfront money works. Guys, explain to them it's actually about 74% now. And what you can say to them, this is because Utility Warehouse stunningly rewards a new customer with up to £400 to pay off early cancellation fees. And that is an enabler that they could take so many services. So there's no way we should ever be contacting someone about gas and electric only. When they're new, they are ringing people to get a presentation in front of them, to practice, to learn how to do this. And then when that recipient of that presentation sees this and the whole thing, invariably, that's why I can't even remember the last time I signed up 2 services. I honestly can't remember when it was. I honestly don't know. All right. So partners can offer energy, broadband, and mobile SIMs. Right, guys, I'm just going to say something here. This is really important. That has just given you a massive clue where the money is. Did you notice it was broadband, mobile, second mobile, and energy? There is no mention of home insurance, income protector, or boiler cover. There is no customer bonus for any of those. Yes, it counts for the customer in terms of up to £400 towards early termination fees, but it doesn't count towards customer bonuses. And I think we have a duty to a brand new partner for them to really understand that. Otherwise, I think we are masking the truth. Okay, so I'm going back to here. Now, 3 service homeowner, that will yield £250. And if you did one of these each week, you'd say, well, that would be 1,000. No, because there's a higher activity bonus of £100 each that kicks in. That is huge money, huge. So the money, here we go. Click on each title below for the information. So homeowners, it's ticked. It gives you examples. Guys, I'm going to suggest that You go through this with them. You read it, all right? Residual income is then paid after a set period of time. This is where you direct them to the success guide, which was one of the documents they should have read when you signed them up and you showed them around the partner portal and you showed them where to do their getting started online training, because then they understand this. Okay. If they know nothing, they haven't bothered to look. That tells you loads. Okay. Tenants, I'm not going to repeat myself. It says it all. Look at that. Just have a quick glance. Everything I've just said. High activity bonus is amazing. Now there's a glitch here that now should say Power Up 2026. Okay. Excuse me. Partners can qualify for a higher activity bonus by signing up more than one homeowner in a month who takes 3 or 4 services. So if they sign up 2 or more, 3 or 4 services homeowners, they'll earn an extra £50 on each one. If they sign up 3 or 4 services on 4 or more, they get £100 each. Huge, huge money. It's like crazy money. All right. By the way, please tell them this. There are no limits. There's no way that anybody should be told, oh, by the way, your first 30 days is about 6 customers. No, I never say that. Crikey. Why would you start to limit somebody immediately? Do you know there is a gentleman that joined and he got 14 grand in his next month. All right, because he went nuts. Don't limit them. Yeah. Okay. Now, bonuses available in your first month. Let's click on QD Star. So, I wish it said that's a minimum. I wish it said minimum. 6 customers and a team member with a customer in your first 30 days. So it gives you examples. So that could be 6 3-service homeowners, which would yield you £1,500. Yeah. If you did 6 times 250, you could do the maths. You'd get the 500 bonus plus 600 in higher activity bonus. Oh, huge money. That's 2,000. How good am I? That's £2,600. Massive. They give you another example. 4 3-service homeowners and a 2 tenants. Please notice it doesn't matter how many services a tenant takes. Remember, you don't get anything. So here we go. 4 service homeowners is 1,000. You'd still get an extra 100 each higher activity bonus, but do it in the 30 days and you'd get a 500 bonus. But please notice, one of them has got to have become a team member, been recruited, and link them back with their own customer. Okay, guys, got that? And it says, of course, you can do more. All right. Now, the last bit. Oh, I just love this. You watch their eyes start opening up because it is incredible. Once you have 6 customers and are feeling confident to support others, it opens up another stream. By the way, please do say to them, not everybody can do this immediately, though they've got 6. Truth. Okay. You get 50% of the upfront income value, as well as the new partner getting 100%. This is what you get for supporting, simply for helping them on their appointments. Help them get to QD Star in 30 days and you'll get a £400 bonus. I've had a few of those. Very nice. £400 bonus for recruiting someone to get to QD Star. Now, how about this? How about this is a humdinger. If you're not ready to start supporting, don't worry. The team can do it for you. And as the recruiter of the partner, even though you don't do the supporting, when they get to QD Star in 30 days, you still get the £400 bonus. Oh my God, why would you limit yourself? How cool is that? Guys, do you not think that's worth really, really talking about? Because I do. Now, the next thing is building your list. Now, I'm going to stop it there because believe it or not, that's 30 minutes. Can you see why I think it is utterly ludicrous that they say 30 minutes to do a whole fast start plan? Set the scene, tell them you want an hour. All right. What I honestly sometimes I do it in about 45 minutes, but it depends. When you're trying to get their why, their goals, their reasons, it can be sometimes like getting blood out of a stone. It can be hard. All right. And that comes with experience. But I'm gonna hold it there because I cannot emphasize how important the money is. Now, if any of you aren't sure what the success guide is, go back to last week's coaching. It was on there. All right. It's one of those documents that's within their getting started training, and it's there. I absolutely emphasize they watch it. Listen, if they got themselves a new job, do you think anyone would take a job without knowing the T's and C's, how much they earn, how many days holiday? No. So why do people join this without wanting to know that stuff? Is that not weird? It is a bit, isn't it? It's a bit weird if they don't want to know. And if they're trying to like brush it all over, you've got to say, how committed are they? Now, I'm also going to say something else. I often find after they've done their online training and they've seen this stuff, this is when you'll sometimes get people do the ghost. They just don't contact you because all of a sudden the penny has dropped. Oh, flip, I've got to do some work. I thought it was just a get rich scheme with no doing no work. Have you found some of those? Because I have. So, guys, I am emphasizing the important things here. Now, in regards to calling, can I say I really believe that the script is immense and I think it can still go on for at least a couple of months. However, when I send out this coaching, I'm going to send what I send to them, okay? What to say. But in addition, I now want to talk about the call because you've got to emphasize to them not only have they got to do the alternative close to give them choices when they make their calls, but also there's things like they've got to get both people in the house because you if you do it to one, I promise you, invariably it falls flat because the other person that's not heard it or seen it, do you know what? It's like a if it's the ego. The ego steps in. The bloke turns around and says, "Oh no, I found us a really good deal," or the woman, whoever it may be. So there's lots of things that I still haven't gone into, which I do, which makes the difference. And as they move on, that little script can be adapted, and that's something else that I'm going to talk about. But there's just one last thing I want to share with you. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. Come on, bring it up. Okay, I think you're seeing that. Okay. Are you seeing writing it down? So look, there's a resume. You know how? What I love about it is, however, I don't like this, so I found an opportunity. And this is another example. You know how I'm in the police? What I've always loved about it is that I'm helping people. However, don't like what I don't like since having the children is the shift work and the hours. So I found an opportunity that's going to enable me to go part-time and cover the loss of income. In fact, that little phrase is good for many, many people. So that is something really important. So guys, bear with us. Next week, same time, same place, we're going to continue with this fast start plan and we're going to be doing it properly. So you really know how. But can I say this? You've seen this. Please have little get-togethers. If you're like a team leader or you've got your own team, or like Gemma, you're a senior team leader, get your team together. Have practice with this, with yourselves, okay? Because what we want is a duplication of super duper skills, okay? Guys, see you next week. I've got a support later on, so I've got to go like the clappers and get a dinner. Nice to see you all. Bye bye.